everyone, and welcome to KYE Talks. I'm Sonal Ambekar, your host for this interview. Know Your Entrepreneur is a digital platform where we talk to several entrepreneurs who tell us why they chose not to be stuck to the regular 9 to 5, but they went ahead and did something different. They went ahead and chased their passion. Today, we're going to talk to a very interesting entrepreneur who's been on a very interesting entrepreneurial journey. We're going to talk to Natasha DeCosta. She's the founder of Start Upcycling Now. SUN, which is they call it. So it's a very interesting startup, and I'd like to tell you that it has to do with upcycling of waste instead of recycling. It's different from recycling, and I'm sure Natasha will be giving us more insight on what is it exactly. I'd like to tell you a little about Start Upcycling Now, which is they started in 2012, that is December 2012, and there's an interesting story in how Start Upcycling Now started, how they got to this idea of, upcycling waste. From 2012 till now, it's been 9 years, and they are just getting stronger and stronger in what they are doing. They now continue to work with schools and educate children on how household waste, that is wet and dry, can be upcycled and, more importantly, channelized correctly in order to make sure that it ends up being a resource rather than waste. They also have societies and organizations converting their food waste into compost and upcycling their compost for an organic urban farm. Let's get to know more. Let's get to know more from Natasha. Hi, Natasha. Welcome to KYE Talks.
Hello, Sonal. Lovely to be on this platform. Tell me.
It's our honor. So tell us, Natasha, tell us that interesting story behind how it actually started.
So the story actually starts on a very unrelated factor altogether. I enjoy trekking, right. And when I was trekking with my kids, right, that's when we realized that there was so much of plastic waste, even high up on the hills, in these right. secret passages, on these trails, which very few people knew. And then, that really got me thinking that who's ever going to come over here to take this mess out? Right. Correct. And that's when I realized that I really needed to do something about it. So I went back to college. Actually by this time I'd already finished my MBA in human resources, but I went back to college of interior design. I understood loads, and I started upcycling plastic waste so that we could purposefully use it, right. rather than making it into waste. So, right. And the idea was to get as many people on the bandwagon so that everyone can reuse their plastic waste rather than just discarding it. Yeah.
Right. And that's how Startup Cycling started. So you got so many people to join hands with you, and कहते हैं ना बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है. So if each person starts giving their input, there can be such a huge difference, right?
Correct. And that is why actually we worked with 20 odd schools, right. to put up installations at the Kalagoda Art Festival. Right. We've made these huge plastic bottle mountains. We've made benches from plastic bottles. Wonderful. And the idea is that to empower every child to upcycle his own waste in his house into something useful.
Right. If you teach them from a very young age, it will continue with them until for the rest of their lives. So that's a very
Correct.
Nice technique, right? To get them to understand the use of it or the importance of it, or even to just instill that habit in them that will continue
right.
with them throughout their lives, and they'll pass it on to the future generations.
That's exactly what we want to do, Sonal. So wonderful. We've got these school programs where it's about once a week lectures for the entire year, so that we see to it that they are consistently doing activity towards sustainability. Yeah, because you can't have a World Environment Day and one day come with a plant, and that's not something you're doing for the environment. It has to be
a continuous process. Right.
Correct. Like we continually need to eat to stay healthy. Right. We continually need to live sustainably to take care of the environment and be healthy.
Right. Wonderfully said. So usually I ask people what's their motivation in being an entrepreneur, but clearly your motivation was more to do with sustainability than to become an entrepreneur and start something of your own. So would you say, did you ever think that, okay, now you're starting on this journey and this is going to be your own venture, so you're kind of going to be an entrepreneur? Did that thought ever hit you? Because an entrepreneur has to wear several hats. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. Did it ever hit you that, oh my God, you're running your own venture? And I mean, did you even think about it?
So seriously, Sonal, it's been a very exciting journey. And the most amazing part of it is I was able to work along with my kids in this whole journey of mine, So even from upcycling the plastic waste, what was very interesting was I was collecting bottles for various installations, for various art festivals. And I remember there was this one time my son, he must have been about 2 years old at that time. He got my husband to stop the bike, go and pick up a bottle from under a car because he said, Mama needs the bottle. So
oh, sweet.
But that's also when I started thinking that it is so important to involve our children in this entire exercise, because when they believe it, they can make adults do a lot of things which authority can't.
And kids pick up habits much easily than us adults, because once you instill a good habit in them, it continues with them for quite a lot of time. Very nicely thought.
And this whole journey has, we started doing a lot of workshops in schools. We started doing a lot of, programs for communities, societies, even for the BMC. And that's how it just snowballed, actually. It's amazing, the entrepreneurial journey. It grows onto you. And it's not that cumbersome, really.
So what would you say, Natasha? What is a factor that gives you a sense of accomplishment, that gets you going every morning? What would we say is the driving force that makes you wake up every morning and is like, oh no, yesterday I accomplished this, today I have to accomplish this, because that is the kind of satisfaction I seek?
So there are two areas that I work on religiously. One is, of course, to get more societies to compost. So we make the societies completely zero waste. We take care of all their wet waste. We take care of all their dry waste. And we set up an urban farm with the wet waste. Wow. So now the society becomes a green haven, right? Because all your food waste gets composted, it's growing into an urban farm, and you're getting 200 kgs of vegetables every 4 months. That gives you a reason to segregate your waste. You're not doing it for the BMC, you're not doing it for anyone else, you're only doing it for yourself
and to keep your
family healthy.
Right.
Yes. And what we've also done in the process is all the dry waste which gets picked up from the buildings. So I'm working with this organization called Asra, and they've involved over 350 rag pickers in Mumbai. So every new site we take, right, we are able to employ two more rag pickers to segregate the waste and channelize it properly, so that nothing goes to the landfill.
Right.
So I think either way, really, Sonal, it is a win only, because
definitely.
Yeah, it's not only about. We are able to get people off the streets and start channelizing the waste from society buildings, from institutions, etc. So everything is getting done properly. And again, as a society member, you're getting amazingly organically pesticide free, right? And organically produced vegetables from your own terrace. So that is also a win for the society, and it's a win for. There are quite a few people involved in this, and we try to include everybody in, rather than saying excluding people and saying we're going to do everything. We try to include more people in it, So everybody stands to grow.
Right. And this idea of, taking the waste, taking all this wet and dry waste and converting into resources instead of letting it go to waste. This is just a very nice idea. And I think upcycling is pretty underrated, and recycling suddenly got a lot of, hype. Correct. But actually what we should concentrate on is upcycling, of how we can, take the waste and convert it into some resources and use it back again.
Right.
It's wonderful what you're doing.
Because when you upcycle it, the waste has more value.
Right.
So since it has more value, it gives it makes sense for a person to sit down and do it.
Right.
And at the end of the day, he's also getting. He's not only doing something which is benefiting society, he's also getting paid for it properly.
Paid for it, right?
So.
Right. Yeah. So there's that motivation as well. That
Correct.
Rightfully.
Correct.
So on every journey, whether it's in life or it's in career, a person faces certain ups and downs. So you must have also faced certain ups and downs, barriers, challenges, because upcycling was not a trend. People didn't even know what it was. It was something so new, so innovative that people must have taken a while to become aware of it, or even accept it as something doable. So how would you say, what were the challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
So see, the main challenges is that a lot of societies earlier thought that why do they need to take care of their waste? So this is something that the government needs to do.
Right.
They are paying their taxes, right? But I think in Bombay, in India rather, we've had such concrete evidence to show that we have to take some matters into our own hands. Like in Bombay, in 2016, we had there was this huge fire that engulfed most of the smoke of which engulfed the whole of Bombay, right? That happened at the dump yard. Right. Then some time ago, again in Delhi, there was this huge mountain of waste to the extent that the land caved in. So we do have a problem. We have to address it, and you cannot, sweep away that problem from you to the government, because you are also part of the governing body that runs this country.
And for a recent reference, recently before the lockdown, during the rainy season, all the waste that was being put in the sea, it was being thrown back onto the shore. So that is also one thing that we, if we start upcycling, that is one thing that will also be avoided, wouldn't it?
Sonal, that's the main thing we have to do, because believe it or not, we are already consuming plastic.
Right.
You just now spoke about the plastic waste coming back on the seashore, right? Where do we get our salt from?
Oh yeah, from the sea.
Exactly.
Being mixed with
and all the plastic that is there in the sea, it because of the UV rays of the sun, it gets broken down into really small microplastic particles which you cannot see. Right. So it is there in our salt. And in fact, I remember very recently hearing a news clipping about plastic being there in an unborn baby. Like while the baby is still in the womb of the mother, there is plastic inside the baby.
Oh, because we're passing it on.
Yeah.
And there are so many sea creatures that are consuming plastic, and then people who have seafood, it's being transferred to them, and then it's just become a vicious cycle.
It's not only that. Even if you're not consuming, salt does come from the sea,
right.
But even if it's not that, even the air that you're breathing has a lot of plastic in it.
And how's that? Please enlighten us.
So basically, there's a lot of the polyesters, a lot of the things that we are doing today, again, has all microplastics inside it.
Right.
Right. So even the air that you're breathing in a city like Mumbai, right? At any given point of time, we will have about 70,000 microplastics in our body. It's very sad, but it's true.
It's sad, it's unhealthy, and we should do something about it. It's not, we can't go ahead like this.
We can't keep passing the buck to someone else to do it.
Right.
We have to do it, because it is our own health at stake, and it is our children.
Yeah, and our future generations, right? If we take it into our hands, we can actually make a difference, but we just need to be determined enough.
Correct. So, even if you don't want to do it for future generations, if you're doing it for your own health, you have a reason to segregate your waste, reduce the plastic in your house, and most importantly, channelize it so it does not go into the sea, does not go into the landfill. And, the most amazing thing of our country is that we really recycle everything. Okay. So it's been ingrained in our culture just before this whole consumerism thing started and one time use started, So if you ever visit a recycling place, okay, or even at Asra, okay, even over here, plastic is segregated into 35 different categories. So if you're looking at your plastic bottle, the cap is a different plastic. The ring again is similar to the cap. Okay, the bottle is a different plastic, and the label is a different plastic. Right. So everything is segregated into different categories, and it goes to specific recyclers who melt it and give this new life. And that is the way forward. That is what we have to do.
Right. Up until now, I wasn't even aware there are so many categories of plastic. I thought it all goes into one only. I knew that the cap is different, but then the label is also different. And then there are 36 categories of plastic.
Correct. It's like, you see your oil bottle, your shampoo bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a difference.
Correct. So it's so important that we don't allow this to go to the landfill. Instead of that, we just for a society, what we need is very simple. Just segregate it into wet and dry.
Right.
We take all this dry waste to our centers. It gets segregated by the rag pickers.
Right.
And then it gets channelized. And as I said, the wet waste is somewhere where we provide a daily service to your society. We take it now over there is a 80% reduction in your wet waste when it's composted.
Yeah.
So it's such a beautiful thing. Right now we are literally, 80% of our food waste is air and water. So we are really transporting air and water across the city and in the landfill and making a mess of everything.
Right.
So it's such a simple way we can do this.
And then sooner or later, we are going to run out of land to waste our dump,
we've already run out.
Yeah, we've already run out. And then we'll have to, take up some new way of, getting this waste dealt with.
Correct.
And why not now? Why not upcycle it? When it's such a viable
so
option.
Easy.
Right.
So I'll tell you something really simple. Okay, so when we are working with students, so I have my grade 4. Okay, that is your 4th standard kids who are composting. They make their compost and they put it in their own garden. You know what happens by putting compost in your own garden? There is something called carbon sequestration. That is, the microorganisms absorb the carbon dioxide from the air. Right. So you get better air to breathe. So it is such a direct impact, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what we are doing with our kids.
And what's sad is there's a lot of ignorance and a lack of awareness.
Correct.
Like these different kinds of plastics are right in front of us every single day in our daily lives, but we are ignorant about the fact. And then there's lack of awareness of how we can, actually upcycle it instead of just dumping it on the land. That's very important. So coming back to, this entrepreneurial journey, COVID hit and our plans, our goals, our aspirations, all of that we had planned, took a hit. A huge pause had come in between. So how would you say now are the factors, or what would be the factors that, would help you achieve your business aspiration related to Sun?
Right. So the most amazing thing about the whole COVID thing is earlier we would go to every school. We had teachers going to schools and teaching this course.
Right.
Now we have it online, so I can reach out to the whole. I mean, the
Right,
whole
a
India
lot of
or
people.
the whole world also. Yes. So the reach has suddenly increased many times over. So that's the most amazing thing which happened during that whole COVID
Right.
situation. And the other amazing thing is people have understood that during that time when there was no traffic happening, everyone thought the air seemed cleaner and we were breathing
Right.
better.
And we said that nature is healing itself.
Correct.
That is one thing we used to say. I remember.
Yes. So now more than ever is a time that you've got to allow to keep it this way.
Right.
And not get back to what we were used to. Correct.
Very
right. So the other good thing is that the MCGM has also come up with this 10% rebate for managing wet waste and dry waste. So that's another reason why a lot of societies are now asking us to take care of their entire waste management because there is an added perk to it. So I think there are so many good factors, promoting us right now. And of course, the most important thing being, however, would be your health, because you directly get good health. It is not something, irrespective if you get that property tax or not, you become healthy. And as you say, health is wealth.
Well, right.
Without that, you have nothing.
And this 2020, this year, this pandemic has actually taught us this lesson that health is actually wealth. No matter how much money you have, if you are unable to take care of your health, if you've been ignoring your health for too long, then you know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So moving on to my next question is, how has this journey changed you as a person? Because obviously you also weren't very aware of plastic and how you can do something about it. So that was a learning moment for you. And every time we have a learning moment, something inside us changes. So what would you say? How has it changed you as a person?
So I was a regular graduate. I've done my MBA in human resources. Was working for a company. It was just a plastic waste that hit me. But through this entire process, I have become so conscious about the amount of waste that gets generated at home. Then I'm not even looking at single-use plastic. It's like even if you're buying your regular groceries, there's so much of waste that comes in. And so I would say the last 20-30 years of my life, I had not seen this. Or I had never noticed it. But I have,
it's been in front of your eyes, but today is the day that you've seen it. Like you've realized.
Correct. So since we are segregating, we're realizing like, oh my gosh, that's so much of waste that we're generating. And but now the realization is that how it can so beautifully come back. It can complete a full cycle.
Right.
So in this journey
and be
of mine,
beneficial while doing it, completing the full cycle.
Correct. So in this journey of mine, we've not only learned this. I've also been working on earth, and earth buildings or green buildings or mud buildings rather. And what I learned is when anything completes a full cycle, it becomes stronger. So, all our old temples, forts, churches, they were earlier built with lime instead of cement.
Right.
And because lime completes a full circle, all these structures become stronger as they age.
Right.
And if we take, I've been taking this thing further in my business to complete full cycles. Because when the full cycle is complete, everybody stands to gain.
Right. And everybody is benefited from it.
Correct.
In some or the other.
Correct.
So moving on to our last question for this interview. Since you stumbled upon a new idea, and it was very innovative. Upcycling wasn't a thing in 2012, I can say for sure. I don't know if it was in other countries, but in India, I had never heard about upcycling to be a thing. We always knew recycling. That was what we were even taught in schools. Upcycling was relatively very new at that point of time. And it was an innovative thing that you went ahead and started a venture and you carried it on, and it's been 9 years. So I would like to ask you, what would be your message to budding entrepreneurs, or maybe people who have ideas, innovative ideas, who can take it ahead and make a difference in the society, in the economy, but they're just too scared to take that risk, to take that step. So how would you encourage them?
So, see, I believe that everybody has a purpose on this earth, right? You have a purpose, and when you live that, you are a light to this world. So it's very important to be that light, because that is why you've been planted here.
Right.
So when you figure that and you do what you have to do, seriously, everything just comes together.
Right.
When we started composting, it was not compulsory. Then suddenly a few years later, it became compulsory. I was like, okay, wow. Yeah.
That happened.
So, so that doesn't really happen, right? For most businesses. But so I would say follow your heart, because there is a greater need for you, and when you do that, when you accomplish that, you get up every day knowing that you are making the world a better place, and that gives you as an individual a great feeling of success.
Right, absolutely. Wonderfully said, Natasha. Thank you for coming on KYE Talks, sharing about your journey.
Thank you.
And also, enlightening us upon upcycling and how waste can be better managed.
Right.
It was an honor.
Thank you so much, Sonal.
It was our honor.
Thank you.